Each week, Val and Amber make royal predictions and track breaking news headlines. October 18th.
Who is telling who to get out?
Within days, protesters hold signs demanding the new Prime Minister to get out. In other news, a Mercury in Scorpio clue.
It seems like this is going to be pretty big, a certain type of investment that completely fails.
And I have two kings. So when you said that, I was like, here he is with another.
1 week later, reports describing two kings.
That would be Gemini. They're the twins.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. So like twin kings.
Underground into the light. Shocking because it's the Ace of Swords.
Thanks for watching. I'm Astrologer Val Evans. Got Amber with Taurus Moon Tarot. We've got so much to talk about from last week. We've got predictions. We're talking about the UK. We're talking about the royals. Why don't we talk about some of the things you've been thinking about for this show? Maybe if you've done a spread or if you pulled a card.
I did. I pulled 3, and I have sort of a clear message about some kind of either reconciliation, some kind of, moving from one phase of drama into a more calm and peaceful place. I have the 5 of Swords in reverse, which is about laying down the sword and really just stopping the fight, and the 6 of Swords moving beyond turbulent times. And then at the root of everything is the family, which I thought was really good with the 10 of Pentacles. So maybe we would see some kind of healing in the near future would be great. And I have a lot of Mercury too. So I don't know what the charts are, but I saw a lot of Mercury.
All right. That's good. Yeah. Mercury, depending on if it's doing well or not, it can show a lot of intelligence. It can show transportation, all the things that we talk about when Mercury goes retrograde. So transportation and communication. So always good when you're in a toxic type of environment to communicate if possible, if you're able. In this past show, we had was something about somebody getting hurt. And sure enough, it was like that Monday morning, there was one of the MPs that just punched one of the constituents. And if you're looking for Amber, you can go to @Taurus Moon Tarot 761 on YouTube. And also I'll have her information in the description box if you want to check her out on TikTok or Instagram. I just wanted you to take a look at the evening standard solar return chart for this month. Now we are still in this area here. We're in the Scorpio area. So what are we doing? We're talking about investments. Wasn't it funny when, we were talking about investments in Scorpio and I had this black wig on?
Yes.
From the intro. It was like, wow, that really was a Scorpio show. We're right here with the solar return. The solar return for the newspaper starts June 11th. So we would go through the houses, June, July, August, September, October. November is going to start the 6th house. 6th house usually represents workers, health, that kind of thing. So it'll be just a few days into November, maybe around, give or take, to be safe, November 10th. And keeping in mind, everybody's looking at Trump and who's going to win the American elections. But also, we're going to get into a different rising sign here. We're going from Pluto to Jupiter. And so I'm showing you that here in the 12th house. Now, there could be some good news from this. There's going to be a shock, of course, because we've got a red line here. This is something that is, I think it's coming to light. And we were talking about how the 12th house is secrets. So somebody's trying to keep a secret, but at the same time for the UK or for England, I think the people are actually going to get something that they like. I think there's going to be some kind of announcement, could have to do with healthcare, insurance, because we're seeing Neptune at the top of the chart and it's kind of activating as Jupiter starts to get stronger in November. So I was going to ask you, what kind of good news are we looking at like mid-November for for England.
Well, I have to add that I didn't say this earlier, but my Mercury card that came up earlier did come in with Virgo, so sixth house, certainly workers, and Mars, which is a lot of, actually, this card is actually quite positive. So we'll pull a tarot card and see what it is in this chart with that sixth house activating. Ace of Wands. Well, it's something very big. It's something very surprising. It's in the upright, which is positive. And this is not a word, but I'm going to use it. It's an unstuckness, becoming unstuck. Movement. Mars certainly means that too. So some kind of movement, a reduction in some kind of cost. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It is for the groups. Three of Cups. It's for lots of people, and it could circulate around women getting something. I don't know if that's in the chart, but
I love it. Yes, we want that. We definitely want that. Neptune is at the top there. It could be something where it's kind of, Neptune is socialism, not like I should say that word, but it's kind of like helping others. It's therapy. It's making people feel better. Yet at the same time, we have Jupiter though, and Jupiter can represent teachers. And I know teachers are having a hard time right now because they can't, not just teachers, but healthcare workers, because the buildings have asbestos. And, this is a problem worldwide, but it's been in the news, which is, of course, what we talk about.
Right.
So I wonder if there might be some kind of issue that's coming up there that has to do with that, but definitely seems like some benefits maybe are coming everyone's way. So
kind of for freedom and release is this Eight of Swords in reverse. Freedom and release. Sometimes.
Yes. Patsy, not sure what that's going to be. Is nothing good happening here in UK? It doesn't seem so right now. Steph is saying new government or PM would be the best. We need new policies and last budget review blocked, etc. Job loss is already hitting us. Yes. Elfaz, nice to see you. Hello, Valerie and Zebra Girl. And hi, ladies from California. Salt and Leisure by Chef Grisha. Oh, I think I follow you on Instagram, a chef from California. So definitely follow Salt and Leisure. And KG, you made it. Thanks for joining us. This is actually last week's, the sun ruled last week as it will this week. So we're going to go to the first house Lord and look and see, what's going on. And so interesting that Wednesday was the big day last week, because that's when the news about capital gains and everything from Rachel Reeves came out. We got the timing right with this chart. So it would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when all the Scorpio and the taxes and invest type of headlines came out. And then we were talking about how there was somebody that was going to get hurt. So there was that MP that made the headlines. And this was Uranus. This was a big, big shock. It was a few things that happened. A lot of suicides are being reported. November 3rd, we're going to look at this now. And this is for this week. And so what we do is we go to the beginning of the week. So that's going to be Sunday at 12 midnight. We're starting November 3rd, midnight. And this is the chart. Check out the ascendant. This is going to be a big clue for the week. The ascendant is right on Regulus. Regulus is 29 degrees. So this is going to be potentially some information about the kings, and so appropriate because it is the week of the US election. We're talking about big time kings and many, many signs and omens about the bad kings falling up until now. You can see here, there is a big T square. That first, this is Sunday. This is like the last round here, just these last few days. So here is the ascendant. So we're going to look at the sun. It's in the third house. So this is a big, big week this is a big day here. So this is going to be Tuesday. So 3rd, 4th, 5th. So it so makes sense. It's a big day for the world.
Yeah.
And we want to look at this right here. This is a big T square. So if you want a king to win, I think they're bad kings. It doesn't look good for them So
Yeah.
that could be potentially something pretty good.
Yeah.
The one thing is that here is Saturn, and that means to return. This is someone who wants revenge. Now, this could be a world leader and wants to somehow get to power going this route. Pisces could be fraud, it could be misinformation, it could be photos, video, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what's really good is that this is retrograde. It's very weak, and it looks like, it's almost there, but I don't think it's going to work. Whoever those kinks are that are trying that shady stuff. So that's the one thing. And then we have Tuesday. No, this is Monday. And so Mercury is going to activate here. So this is the day before the election. This is something really intense because this is a bomb here. And not a literal bomb, I don't think, but this is like a group of people. I actually think this might be dangerous, actually.
Yeah.
This might have to do with the American election.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is something that falls, and it's it's big.
Yeah. Well, I have this Mercury and Mars cards sitting here in my face, making me think of, sort of that, Mars in Mercury, dangerous. Okay. The Tower.
Oh my God. So you'd say that would be...
It could certainly be something falling, something breaking apart is what's coming to my mind. This could be fire. One more. It's this Four of Wands in reverse. And, sometimes we do read this as an event location, a stadium, a place where there's lots of people, arena. King of Pentacles. There's the leader part too, the king again.
That's a king with money.
Yeah, and he's holding the coin. Yeah, it's something from the air coming down. Like, it makes me think of like a collapse of a roof.
Okay.
Something like that.
And that makes sense. It doesn't look big. And the reason I say that is because of Mercury. Mercury is a group. It is a small group. God, Moon is in Scorpio. That could mean Middle East types who are from that part of the world. But Sagittarius is Americans. There's a clash here of some sort. It doesn't look like it helps. It only looks like it hurts the king that's falling. Mm-hmm. It doesn't help.
Yeah, this is a small group also with this Three of Pentacles, and it makes me think of, there's a couple indicators here of religion, sort of symbolic thing.
Okay.
By religion. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, because look at this. Neptune is religion, and it's in the 8th house of revenge. Mm-hmm. I wonder where this could be. See, there's a big blue grand trine here. It definitely looks like there's a safety issue. Did you see how there was somebody who just opened fire in Orlando on that Halloween? It was like Halloween night. And I was thinking about what all the Europeans and everybody around the world always say about Americans. Like, what is it with all the shootings and all the guns? Another good thing, we've got Mars at 29 degrees. And Mars at 29 is very, very weak. It's somebody you cannot see. So this looks like this is Neptune. Well, the thing is, one of the clues is Mercury is 2. So there could be, 2 men. Neptune sometimes is chemicals, but it's also fraud. So it could just be fraud. I think maybe something will come out about the king that it could... I don't know if it's positive or not. It looks like he's returning somewhere because Saturn would be to return. And he's going somewhere. He's in the 3rd house of brother. Is he going to go talk to Prince Andrew?
Ooh, someone had a comment in the chat that I did not know that they had read or heard.
Yeah. Yep.
Related to the brothers.
Thank you, Angel.
If I'm asking the yes, no, it's very interesting. I think it's a yes, but we won't know. It's
Okay.
kind of an odd message with the hermit and the high priestess. It may not be revealed right away in the press. It may be something that is then harkened back to, and yes, they met in November and we didn't know about it in that moment.
Okay.
Or at least there's an attempt to hide away, steal away, and, sort of have this private conversation or this private meeting.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Definitely looks like secrets. This is super powerful this week, and this is going to come in if it's in the 4th house, because this grand trine is going to start, and this is not talking about Andrew, but something happening in the UK. God, Black Moon Lilith. That's Tuesday. And Black Moon Lilith comes in the form of two Black Moon Liliths. This is somebody that is local in the UK. And what are they doing? The 10th house. This is a government person, I think. They're trying to do something. It's probably a female. Yeah. Maybe she's talking about domestic issues because of the 4th house. But somebody's trying to get away with something. Maybe they're trying to backtrack on something that's really upsetting everyone. What do you think?
I could see that when you said a female. I got the Page of Wands, which is younger. So it's
okay.
It's like a younger with Death in Reverse, which is backtracking, going sort of backtracking when you said that.
Yes.
What is it about?
Maybe she has something red on, or she has a red hood.
Or she wears a severe updo or an updo in her hair. But this is the work card. It's a financial card, but it's work.
Okay. I wonder what that's all about. Okay. So this is some Black Moon Lilith. She probably has dark hair, actually, because of Black Moon Lilith. It's usually a darker person or darker hair.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually something good. This is on Monday. Monday morning, somebody gets rid of something. The South Node is to purge. And this could be a marriage. This could be because it's in a trine. It's actually something good.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of goodbyes. It's kind of like, when Wham broke up, they were all saying goodbye, and there was 1,000 or thousands of people who were saying bye, we loved you. This is like a Wham, the last Wham concert.
Yeah.
So who is saying? And by the way, I say that because this same type of configuration is in the chart for the concert that year. So it's kind of crazy, or the day they had the concert. But anyway, so what do you think about that?
Well, let's see. It does make me think of, yes, wow. I actually see if it's someone in that sort of world, music, it could be Adele. I know she already announced this early retirement or something, but there might be new coverage around that. It feels like a woman who sort of, completed some kind of dream and is maybe saying goodbye after the dream is complete. And withdrawing with the 4 of Cups in reverse, sort of going away. I was just going to say, I don't know if you heard the Adele piece. I feel like if it's Monday, we might hear more farewells from Adele, the final farewell from an Adele.
I did not see that, Angel. Have you seen the headline, King cuts off Andrew in Daily Mail? No? We'll have to check that out.
Ooh.
This is also, could be still Liam Payne as well. And then, now we're going to just do this, and then we're going to get to some of the royals, because I have some charts. But Saturday was when everyone protested. And this is Saturday. And it was right on Aquarius. So Aquarius indicated that Saturday would be when there was an upset, earthquakes, everybody's moving around and jolted, really.
Yeah.
And so you can see that. So if you're just joining this channel and you don't know how we do this, we pull the chart for the week and then we look at each house as if it were a day. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this is the last question I'm going to ask you on this chart, but it looks as if this Saturday, not this Saturday, it would be Saturday, November 9th, could be another day of protests.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe there are already and planned, and I don't know about it, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. This is some kind of, I would say if there's a protest, it's something to do with youth, very young. A protest around youth or the people protesting are very young, fighting sort of the good fight that they might feel trampled upon and, justice in reverse. And the moon in reverse is telling me that this is like about coming to the surface, bringing this out, speaking it out loud, making it public. With the moon in reverse, but the Page of Pentacles in reverse, this is like rowdy youth. This is very, rebellious. I keep saying the word youth, but that's what I'm seeing. Very young or youth issues. But I feel like the group of people will be quite young, 20s, teens and 20s is what I see.
Hello, Val. So happy to be on time for your new topic. Watching from Saudi Arabia. Thank you for watching. This is Prince Harry's birth chart. And I just wanted to circle something that I mentioned the other night. And this is Saturn and Pluto. Now, a lot of people have this, I think, who were born in 1985 as an example. This is returning many times. And so we're going to see that throughout history of people who, and this is just one kind of result of Saturn conjunct Pluto. Saturn means history. Saturn is also the status quo, but Pluto is revolutionizing it. And so, funny enough, even back in the 16th century, there have been some very famous royal figures that have had this who were considered revolutionaries, but also very disliked by the people. There's a couple of other charts I'm going to show you as an example of Saturn and Pluto, but let me move on. This is Prince William's transit chart for July. And what we're going to do, we're going to find Meghan in this chart. And so the third house is Prince Harry, and we're going to go to the seventh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so Venus, appropriately, would rule Meghan. And isn't it unbelievable? She is the exact degree of Chiron, the wounded healer.
Yes.
So somebody who has the capability of really, really hurting you and wounding you in so many ways, yet being responsible for your healing.
Yeah.
Now, in July, he's had this Uranus here going back and forth on the planet that represents Meghan. And then it's going to be headed up to this planet, Mercury, and that represents Princess Catherine. He's about to have a Venus return, and that's going to potentially give goodwill, I don't know, towards maybe Harry's significant other. So that's one thing. But notice in the house that is basically representative of Meghan, look at how many malefics are in that. It's like a long war. But I think that this could be a temporary detente, if you will, where something's happening and they're like, okay, let's just put our beef aside. I think we probably know what that could be about, but I thought maybe you could give me a little bit more information.
Yeah, let me see what's underneath. Yes, the Sun in reverse. The Queen of Wands, which could be her, and the Star card, which is healing. Oh my gosh. I said, what's underneath all of this? And it's the the Sun in reverse, which is discord, unhappiness, discomfort, the healing with the Queen of Wands.
Whoa, that is pretty literal.
That's pretty literal. Yes.
Sometimes I think that the healing might come from the kids, seeing them together makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Yes. The Page of Wands, which represents small children.
Okay.
Young
So
children.
yeah, the youth is going to help
Yeah.
him. It seems as if because of Saturn and Mars there,
Or a baby. Is this around a new baby?
maybe
No.
maybe
Beatrice.
Beatrice's, yes.
That may be the conduit. I mean, you said children and then
Okay.
the empress, the pregnant empress.
So
Yeah.
let me go over to the next one here. And yeah, so that's just really showing everyone what I'm looking at. That's basically Megan. And he's having this Venus return, which is just a renewal period and can be very fast too, by the way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, within 1 degree of alcohol.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. So we're talking about lots of money. We're talking about attractive people, but we're also talking about people that just lose their heads.
Yeah.
And when the transit is not favorable. Now here is Megan's chart. And by the way, this is happening actually right now too. You see that south node there? This is conjunct. This is Harry here. Saturn is the 7th house lord. And you know what the south node represents? It represents someone spiritual. And so it would definitely make sense that a psychic would come out and talk about when they were going to get divorced and predictions. And it also means to purge. So that would explain him going off on his own, maybe taking a break. You kind of just like you're limp at that point,
Yeah.
just go. All right. If you've got to go, just go.
Yeah.
So, but not really in bad aspect. Pluto represents, okay, this is why I pulled January. Pluto represents Prince William. And that's when we have Black Moon Lilith. And this is something pretty nefarious, like somebody with a plan of some sort.
Oh.
There he is. And there's Black Moon Lilith. And there is Mars. There's something secretive. Now, Mars is in Cancer, which she has natally, so she's kind of used to it, but it does mean some kind of abusive language. Somebody's saying something to her that makes her feel bad and like kind of, it's just abusive. If you were looking in your own chart and you're like, oh God, what's that? You would probably try to maybe not be in direct conversations with this person for that period of time.
Right.
It's not going to last that long, but what do you think is going to be happening?
Would we want to know who this person could be?
Well, it's going to be Prince William. Prince William he's going to be pretty angry about something, it seems like. And he might even have a secret or some kind of a plan.
These are very interesting cards. Well, my William card, the magician, stirring up a concoction of some kind, brewing something, right? It's in the upright though, so it's not as negative in that upright. There is an attempt to create something. And then also, again, I've got this 3 of Pentacles, another 3 of Pentacles working on something. What is he doing?
Like 3 people, maybe. 3 is a crowd.
I have the 3 of Cups along with it. So definitely there's a 3 theme. But I've got an 8 of Swords, which is about restriction. With the Hierophant. This to me is the firm, as they call it, the firm. As an entity, it's restriction of the firm.
Okay, she's
Like
going to try
silence.
Yes, she's going to try to do something, I think.
Yeah, the silencing around the firm.
And I say she's going to try to do something, meaning she might try to communicate or something will happen. The problem is when they're not communicating, they tend to, maybe because of their spies or maybe because it's a poor coincidence, that they overlap and they kind of steal each other's thunder. One tends to steal the other's thunder a little bit more. And that's the problem. So that could be why it's so intense. But I'll say that Mars square, like this is super, super angry.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that red line, you've got, not only do you have Mars squaring Pluto, which is extreme anger.
Yeah.
But it's also with Black Moon Lilith, which is, suddenly the devil eyes come out.
Yeah. When you're saying this, do you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of someone intercepting communication and removing it, meaning someone reaches out or attempts to, and they send this beautiful letter and they're never given to the right person. They're sort of stolen away off to the side. Their
Oh,
communication is cut or redirected is what I see. Messages
okay.
are being, sort of
Yes.
intercepted.
Something's being intercepted. Patsy says maybe something comes out of his dirty finances in that documentary. I can't imagine that she would have any, like she would make things worse, but um, let's see. Jan says, "Don't say Megan is pregnant." I know. 3 kids on the way. I know everybody's like, "It's 3 kids." Uh,
That would
let's
be
see.
shocking. Mm.
Oops, I don't know what does NHS needs scraping? It costs each person
Yeah.
$4,500 each. Um,
Oh, wow.
I saw what I assumed is a rumor that Meghan was going to allow him to see his grandchildren when they are in Portugal. Is it me? Why 3 since Princess Diana?
Mm.
Yeah, 3 seems to be the number. So that's going to be a clue, I think.
I think it
That
is.
3. Okay. And let's see here too. Now, if you have Pluto in
Mhm.
Libra, it's so interesting that she is in Libra in his chart, so showing an attractive woman, and Pluto is in Libra in her chart, representing him, showing an attractive male. And with it being in the 4th house, this is, this is something about the foundation. It's about marriage, it's about contracts
Mm.
and jealousy, or some kind of, this could also represent somebody gets betrayed. And I think it's Meghan that's getting betrayed. Um,
Mm.
maybe somebody saying something to her. I hope not, but it
Yeah.
seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ali says, my thought is M is pregnant. It's about damage limitation. I don't know what that means.
Huh.
So, okay. Now, let me just go back to this. Okay. Okay, so this is July of next year. It's in the summertime. And, we all, at this time of our lives, we have Uranus, opposing Uranus. It's kind of like the midlife crisis type
Mm.
of transit. It's just you're moving, you're doing stuff and you're not comfortable. But the problem for her, which is not the case for a lot of us, is that she has Black Moon Lilith in that. So when there are moves, they're more uncomfortable than the average.
Yeah.
But thankfully, she has a really nice blue rectangle, which is
Mm.
always nice to have in your chart. It shows harmony, it shows good things, good news that's coming in.
Mm.
And so, what we're going to do, I tend to look at the 3rd house for William, but I could also look at the 11th house, which is the older brother.
Mm.
And that would make sense because, all of this is with her spouse's older brother.
Right.
And just to explain that, the 7th house rules Prince Harry, and you could say the 3rd house or the 11th house rules siblings. So that would be William. So anyway, we do have something that's coming in where it looks kind of, well, we would go to the 3rd house, we go to Neptune. And
Mm.
that looks like it's kind of tied up and pretty negative. But this looks like he needs help. Like he's stuck. And this might be the part where
Mm.
the couple, which would be Meg and Prince William or Prince Harry, they come in to help.
Mm.
So could that be, I wonder if that's his health.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. And the Ace of Swords, the swords can represent physicians, doctors, medical treatments. This is like, I would see as like laser, treatment or something like that. Lasers. I mean, this looks like a beam of light. But I had sort of an intuitive hit that has nothing to do with the cards. And I was like, will someone be diagnosed with MS? Then you started talking about Will's health. So I don't know. Something chronic, but not devastating. Yeah, Eight of Swords. I could see that, a diagnosis of some kind.
Yeah. It looks like he's stopped for some reason. And then it's like, okay, guys, get over here. I really don't want to see you, but bring the kids. We're going to have a talk. Her ruling planet is the moon here. It's
all around Diana's birthday. I don't remember her birthday. Was it July?
July. Yes, July.
So I had some Diana indicators around birthday. So
together. This is my Saturn-Pluto point that I wanted to try to make before.
Okay.
And we're talking about Saturn, right? Now, what happened was he was crossing the Delaware River with his troops, and it was Christmas time. So this was Christmas, right? And we're talking, I mean, this guy, talk about a life. Like, he had to fight in 2 wars. He had like a wet uniform on half his life because he was trudging through the snow. And so Saturn would mean to return here. And at this moment, when they're crossing the Delaware River, this is Pluto here, right? And remember, keep in mind that it's revolutionary energy. It's trying to transform something. There are a lot of people who go back to where he crossed every year on Christmas to celebrate that crossing, okay? So it is really a memorialization. It is a remembering, and it's one after another. It's like every year they do that, which is pretty cool. But it's a lot. It's a lot of returning. And so that kind of set that in place there. And then, of course, I've got, there it is there. There's Saturn, and then there's Pluto. 6. Then we've got Ted Bundy on the other side. But keeping in mind, he had Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde. So Saturn represented bodies.
Right.
Of course, George Washington saw his share of that.
Yeah.
Pluto means lots and lots. And then Leo would be on Taylor Mountain. So he, in secret, 12th house, would go back to visit those people that he killed. And so what made him do that? And I think, and this is psychology related, but I think his incredible amount of jealousy would activate whenever he would have a transit. He'd have to go back to the mountain. It made him feel better in a very disgusting, sick way. But there's Saturn and Pluto right there. So not to put them all together, but that's Harry and his natal chart. So he's always going to be returning to something. And the 9th house is a problem for Meghan. Every time the press is riled up again, it shakes the tree, the foundation. And so I think that's just one thing in his chart maybe that might cause some issues. Thank you, Angel, and thank you for your time today. Yes, Nora, we are taking it way back. Maybe I inspired you, and you can do some numerology on it. Nora loves and is the expert in numerology. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something too, and then we will finalize with one or a couple cards, whatever you think. But I wanted to show this awesome quilt I got from Buckeye Clay Fan. And it is I showed it in my last show. It's Halloween motif, and it has pumpkins, and it has, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got like crowns on it. It's all, here's a crown. I mean, can you believe that? And she handmade it.
Amazing.
And there's beads on it. I mean, it's amazing. And there are all of these like old articles that are in here about palmistry. And there's also, Mercury, Saturn, all of the planets. I mean, this is like such a perfect gift. But what I was thinking was, visited a palm reader before?
I have.
You have?
I think I was 18 when I did. Yes.
Well, not too long ago.
Right. Just a minute ago. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It was
so
fab
what was your experience like?
I thought she hit on some things that now in hindsight, I look back and thought, "Oh my gosh, it was
Really?
spot on." One
Wow.
specific thing I remember I was 18, she said, "You'll probably not be married or in a relationship until you're 30." And I thought, 30? That's so old. And I thought it was very old, but it was true. And then I had a son before a daughter, which was true. Just
Oh,
very specific, wild
that's
prediction.
amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to learn. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Send me some ideas of a palm reader you want to talk to. Maybe we'll have them on as a guest.
Yeah.
And that would be very interesting. So I want to get, do you have anything that you want to do before we sign off?
I didn't have anything in particular. No, I feel like there's one thing I'd like to keep at the front of our minds from last show, and I talked about an engagement of some kind, or potentially someone with more children going from one children to three, the twins. I definitely am still seeing children, and
Okay.
I saw it today. So I want to keep our eyes peeled for pregnancy outside of Beatrice.
Yes. Okay. All right. And just a couple of comments here. Yes, Janet,
Mm,
beautiful
okay.
quilt. And I know, Nora. Um, Amber, do you have the line of intuition on your left palm? Do you
I
know?
don't know enough about it to know if I do. You'll have to
um,
it.
gosh, you Americans do Halloween so well. I know, stunning and thoughtful. And I wonder, is Buckeye Clay Fan on here today? Let me see. Meghan and Harry will be fine. They know who and what they're dealing with on that island. And okay,
Yeah.
talking about Starmer here.
Mhm,
Somebody else expecting and a surprise.
mhm.
Everybody's wondering about Meghan. That certainly would be expecting the unexpected.
That would be. Yeah, that would be
All
smart.
right. Well, let's see here. We would look at, now this would be January, and the pregnancy house is here. So that would make sense. The Aquarius runs the eighth house of pregnancy, and Pluto would also be pregnancy.
Yeah.
So let me
Hmm.
see here. Uranus, I think it's possible. I
Yeah.
think it's possible. I mean, she could be another Giselle
Yeah.
Bundchen. Well, I mean, pregnancy wise.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so we're going to keep in mind everything about the family, some surprises there. But as far as we should probably look at one more day here, and that would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mhm.
Wednesday seems to be the Pluto day
Mm.
lately,
Yeah.
and Pluto is going to be here. It seems as if this is pretty big. This is going to be another huge, huge week, but Pluto is at 29 degrees.
Yeah.
I think this could be more male, aggressive, guns
Mm.
guns ablazing. I mean, I don't want to say too much more after that, but
Yeah.
because Mars is weapons. So, but I think it has more to do with people being upset, because what's happening is, I think what's setting in is that people are going to have to change their life here with the tax code changing, and people might lose it.
Yeah.
And you've already drawn cards when it comes to that, but can you draw something specific when it comes to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, on Wednesday? There's a lot of stuff going on in here.
Yeah.
It's somebody very, very famous coming out with, this could actually be this could be a movie. This could be
Huh.
a movie.
Okay. The interesting thing is I see the devil, the seven of swords, and the five of pentacles, and the world card, which is that sort of that could be the movies, worldwide. But it's giving me another element or hit on religion, or um, churches, like the physical buildings. I don't know what movie this could be, but it's like the church and the devil. There's something like The Omen. I know that we talk about that movie, but and then that
Ah,
Seven of Swords, which is very devilish.
okay, so between November 3rd and November 9th, 2024, this could be something that has to do with maybe a church, maybe a cult, because we've been talking about cults too.
Yeah.
This could be a whistleblower. Mercury represents to blow a whistle. So this could
Yeah.
be another whistleblower. Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun week. But I do think, though, that once we get into November, mid-November, there's going to be some type of good news that's coming in that helps. They're going to have to do that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Mhm.
And all right, we're talking about Princess Anne. I hope she's doing well. I haven't heard much about her. That would be beautiful. Catherine was pregnant, possibly both Megan and Catherine twins. Oh my God. And hey, Teresa, nice to see you.
Oh,
And yeah, so we're gonna look into the palm reading. And thank you so much for joining us again, as usual.
yes.
And
And
and we will see how the cards and the charts predict this week. So thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
thanks.